So I take conquering and creating value, not only for the business owner, but for their teams, very serious. I had done 12 years of research, formatted these businesses, worked with FTI, billion-dollar firm out of Chicago, breaking down 4,000 businesses over 3 years, refreshed that work with IGS out of Boston, to all the private equity guys use for research. How many of you want to grow and scale and kill it in business? Hopefully all of you. Things don't happen instantly, they happen over time, and confidence is built through consistency and attainment of goals over a long period of time. Confidence isn't built transactionally. So I'm going to tell you my intention. My intention is we're going to overwhelm you and saturate you with information. Because here's the thing, building businesses is simply a game of trial and error. The more you try, the more you err, hopefully you learn, you develop, you change up, and you go after it again. Some interesting statistics, 97% of all businesses under 125 million are trapped under 3 million. Why is that? Because once you get to 12 employees, it gets hard. Very small percentage of businesses break through 3 million. And here's another stat, we'll get into the stats, but I want to imprint on you, 97% of all those businesses cyclically will fail every 10 years, 2/3 will fail in the first 5. That means the big ones that make it past 5 fail in the 10th. Why? Now where does this information come from? I believe that being overtly transparent is important because after I sold my business, and my business I sold was a business helping independent business owners grow, scale, and dominate their marketplaces, and they outpaced their peer group 3.5 to 15 times in size and value. So I take conquering and creating value, not only for the business owner, but for their teams, very serious. I had done 12 years of research, formatted these businesses, worked with FTI, billion-dollar firm out of Chicago, breaking down 4,000 businesses over 3 years, refreshed that work with IGS out of Boston, to all the private equity guys use for research. There's these elements that happen in business. One is convergence. How many of you have installed hardwired phone systems in your businesses? Okay, that was the only way you could have it up until 2007. And someone would come in and sell you the brain, and then they'd sell you the handsets. The brain would be $100,000, $150,000, depending on how many handsets, and the handsets would be $500 to $1,000 a piece, and they would come in and sell that to you. And in 2006 and 2007, something new happened, and that was the internet and Wi-Fi. And all of a sudden, you run a Cat 6 cable in the ceiling, and the phone guy would then come and connect to it for your phones. But with Wi-Fi, you didn't have to run a hard connection from your computer to the router. So they would sell you your computer and then a headset to go with your computer, and you didn't have to spend $500 to $1,000 on a handset, and you could use your computer and you could record calls and do everything that was in the brain. You didn't need the brain anymore. And so in 2006 and 2007, there was 12,000 telephony integrators in the marketplace. And what they did is they would be the ones to come sell you those brains and those phone systems. MyTel, ShoreTel, Intertel. And then all of a sudden Wi-Fi came in, and these technicians would show up to some of your businesses, and you're like, I don't want that expensive system. I might not even be in this location very long. I just want my computer to work with the internet, and I want to use my headset. And the old-fashioned business owner hanging on to legacy equipment all of a sudden loses their technician, who, guess what, realizes, not only can I put the computer in there and put the headsets to it, but I can run the cable. When I run the cable, I can put the security to it. I can put the IT infrastructure on the cable. I can put the video cameras on the cable. I can put the audio visual on the cable. I can put everything on that cable and harness to the cable, and therefore, now instead of having one company that sells handsets that plug into your computers, I can sell the computers, I can sell the handsets, I can sell the security, I can sell the TVs, and all of a sudden you had business automation. That's convergence, where all of a sudden you had a business that ran cables, you had a business that did telephony, you had a business that did audio visual, and they formed new companies. And all of a sudden today, those companies disrupted traditional telephony companies, and the manufacturers with the handsets, the MyTel, ShoreTels, Intertel, Samsungs, all those guys lost power because you don't need the handset anymore, you use the headset. So it disrupted that marketplace. The other disruption, I don't know if you remember, but there used to be stores called Circuit City. Certainly you remember Best Buy. There used to be home theater and automation. There was 12,900 home theater and automation businesses in the United States. Best Buy acquired them. And the strategy was, we're going to take a $100 million company and turn it into a $3.5 billion company in 36 months. And the way we're going to do it is we're going to acquire you. We're going to bring you into every single Best Buy around the world. We're going to knock the price of all the equipment out to the bottom, We're going to grab all the technicians that work for those 13,000 approximate locations. We're going to hire them for half the price because they're going to lose their jobs. And we're going to dominate the home theater, home automation space, because now we can cook the curtains, the security, the HVAC, the this, the that, the garage doors. And now we can go in and sell you something different than home theater. It's now called what? Home automation. Convergence of multiple things. Now, why is this important? Because we mapped that cycle. So it started in 2007, 8, 9, and 10. And what happened by 2010 is they wiped out 77% of the independent home automation people. Just wiped them out. Well, all the technicians lose their job and they go to work over for Best Buy, and that cycle lasted about 3 years. What happened? Boom, telecom happened. Now they're over, they move out of there and go over to the corporate side. So there was a new demand for technicians that knew what they're doing, because the complexity at the commercial building was different than doing a little house. So all of a sudden they started getting pulled. Well, what was Best Buy's answer to that? They're going to take blue shirts, 18-year-old kids, and teach them how to install $100,000 home theaters. Well, that cycle ran about 3 years, where the consumer's like, the stuff you sold me sucks. So now I go to my buddy who's, man, I love your home theater. I say, don't go to those guys. Go to this guy. And the emergence of home automation came in, and they started getting contracts with builders. And all of a sudden I became the home automation guy, and I have a $5, $10, $20 million business. That segment of those tweener businesses became bigger than the whole market, because they were able to converge multiple products into the business. They weren't just selling TVs or theaters. So you guys understand what convergence is? You understand what disruption is?